Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 137. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 3rd of September 2014, beginning as usual with my first 5, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Spider-Man 2099, number 3. Miguel's uneasy arrangement with Alchemax lands him in a literal war zone, and his very existence is once again threatened when Tiberius Stone is taken hostage. Plus, a classic Spider-Man villain faces the future's Spider-Man. Series writer Peter David discussed Miguel's motivation. Quote, his mental state is one of grim determination. He's been to our time before, so it's not without precedent. If anything, he sees this as an opportunity to try and reshape Alchemax so it'll not be the heartless, destructive corporation that it becomes. He plans to do this in 2 ways, to work within the company to steer it, and to affect his grandfather Tiberius Stone that he won't be such a raging douchebag and thus result in Tyler Stone being a more decent individual. He's literally a man with a mission. Close quote. At number 2, we've got Uncanny X-Men number 25, Original Sin tie-in. Xavier's greatest secret has been revealed. Against such overwhelming power, will the X-Men succeed in holding the line, or will Xavier's final gift to his children be their undoing? Series writer Brian Michael Bendis talked about writing Charles Xavier. Quote, I have written Charles and was always quite fond of him because we share membership in the Bald Men Who Use Our Power to Manipulate People Without Them Knowing It club. The position Charles held in the Marvel Universe was unique and very important. He had his hands in major events going all the way back to before there was even a Marvel Universe. We've never known all of Charles' secrets. We've never known how far Charles was willing to go, how much of his power he was willing to use to make his dream of mutants and humans living together a reality, and we don't know what he left behind. Close quote. At number 3, we've got Legendary Star-Lord number 3. The Badoon have captured the Star-Lord. Sharing a jail cell with the Spartax criminal and a Badoon child aren't exactly Peter's idea of a good time. Luckily, Peter's got an ace up his sleeve, an ace named Kitty Pryde. Series writer Sam Humphries explained his take on Peter. Quote, he's a guy, and we say this right in the issue, who loves space. He's not tortured about being in space. He has an affection for Earth, is where he grew up. It's where half his heritage is. But he loves being Star-Lord. He loves going out into space and drinking and fighting and adventuring. But we do give him a new connection to Earth, which is his long-distance flirtation with Kitty Pryde, which Bendis introduced in the Trial of Jean Grey. They have these holographic phones with which they can communicate with each other. It's kind of like intergalactic Skype. They've met and they have some chemistry and there's a spark there, and now they're going to find out across thousands of light years if there's potential for a relationship there. Close quote. At number 4, we've got Justice League number 33. The shocking conclusion to the Injustice League leads to a startling confrontation with the all-new, all-dangerous Doom Patrol. And in the wake of it all, a secret will be revealed that will bond 2 members forever and break 2 members apart. Plus, Shazam unlocks a new power that will send a shockwave through the League. Series writer Jeff Johns said this about the Doom Patrol. Quote, the next issue brings back Element Woman and the Doom Patrol. There's actually a bigger bastard in the DC universe than Luthor, and his name is the Chief. We'll find out about the shared history that Lex Luthor and Niles Calder have. Close quote. He went on to say that the Doom Patrol would go up against Jessica Cruz, the new Power Ring, quote, who is holding the secrets of what devastated Earth 3 and coming to this world. That's something that Luthor, Batman, and the Doom Patrol all want to find out. Close quote. At number 5, we've got All New X-Factor number 13. Quicksilver is reunited with his daughter Luna, but the Inhumans are not too happy about it. Plus, could Warlock make a move on Danger? Series writer Peter David shared this about Warlock's relationship with Danger. Quote, I think he does find Danger interesting, but he really doesn't have the faintest idea how to go about pursuing it. Close quote. He also gave this insight into Danger. Quote, I think Danger is drawn to teams because she spent her entire existence, from before she was a sentient creature, being around teams. It's her natural state. Furthermore, she continues to find humanity and mutant kind endlessly fascinating and finds X-Factor interesting to observe because of their interactions. Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Tech Jacket number 3. The champion of the Colossus emerges to challenge Tech Jacket while the President of the United States, you know who, receives counsel from a strange advisor. At number 7, we've got X-Men number 19. With Sword's orbital headquarters, the peak literally hanging in the balance, the X-Men raced into deep space to find the source of the new threat that's emerged from the abyss. But little did they suspect that lurking in the shadows of the Acanti Skunk Works, a conspiracy is waiting to entangle them. And what's worse is that it's a conspiracy that has connections to the deaths of Rachel Gray's family. At number 8, we've got Batman Eternal number 22. Beacon Tower was designed to save Gotham City, but the architect has plans to make it the most dangerous weapon the city has ever seen. At number 9, we've got Iron Fist the Living Weapon number 6. A figure from Danny's past comes to his aid, but is the Iron Fist broken beyond repair? A new hope is born with talons and fire. Is there new life for Kunlun, or a fate worse than death? And at number 10, we've got Names number 1 of 8. New York City. 40-year-old Kevin Walker is a successful trader. He's incredibly rich, he has a young, sexy wife, and a son he adores. He has everything, until the mysterious man known as the Surgeon walks into Kevin's office. He takes a seat and tells Kevin to write a suicide note. Trembling but obedient, Kevin does what the surgeon says. Then, at a word from this well-dressed figure, Kevin jumps out his window and falls 50 stories to his death. Thus begins The Names, an 8-issue miniseries by writer Peter Milligan and artist Leonardo Fernandez. The Names is a dark contemporary thriller set in the world of big money, hedge funds, leveraged buyouts, market raids, flash crashes, high-end finance that can ruin entire economies, run by a cabal of the world's richest and sickest people. Now it's up to Katya Walker, the beautiful and deadly wife of the late Kevin, to take on this hidden power structure and find out who killed her husband and why, no matter what it takes, no matter who she has to kill. It's the Wolf of Wall Street meets Kill Bill, and haven't helped the 1%. For the best of the rest, this month DC Books leap 5 years into the future and tie into the story established in the weekly series The New 52 Futures End. Much like Villains Month last year, these books will feature special 3D lenticular covers. In a special DC All Access bonus clip, host Tiffany Smith walks through the cover process with DC Entertainment Senior Art Director Kenny Lopez.
The newest Futures End variant covers are all going to be lenticular. Why Futures End?
It's a big event in which the DC universe is propelled 5 years into the future. So it just seemed like a natural because you can take the image from now and then flip it into the image of what's going to go on 5 years from now. Whereas last year's was simply 3D, and these went over really well. So we thought, well, this time we could take advantage of what they call the flip. So in this case, we'd have one image that would flip back to a different image. So you go the current Superman and go 5 years later to what's going on.
So cool.
Yeah.
Now explain to me a little bit about the technology. I just like saying lenticular. So what exactly does that mean?
It means taking a 2D image and through computer technology, just turning it into a 3D image. It's something proprietary from the guys we use over in Wisconsin. On our end, it's a little different to prepare these than it is to do a normal cover where it's just one image, something like this, just one image, we throw the logo on and that's it. Whereas this is actually, in this case, you've got this drawing and this drawing. So it's actually 4 different drawings, one of him, and one of him later, and then the background is drawn separate as well. I've got right on screen, we've got this same cover, Futures End Action Comics. It's all done in various layers, starting with Superman, and then you get a background that goes behind him, that's the main background. And then we add a shadow for these panels. And there comes the Metropolis background right there. So that's what we call Flip 1.
Okay.
And then you get the trade dress, Futures End logo, Action Comics logo comes in. Most importantly, DC Comics logo. Can't forget that. And then, you see how we flip back and forth.
Nice.
But what's cool is the background. You've got Metropolis normal, and then it flips to the burning Metropolis as
very
well.
Cool. Did you feel like you had to one-up yourselves from the last time you did the lenticular covers?
I think we always feel like we have to one-up ourselves. You don't want to let it rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
Because the fans know it.
What the heck is going to happen next time?
Good question.
Are you guys already thinking? Do you think that far ahead?
Yeah, for some of these things, definitely.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm like, maybe it'll be like sculptures, holograms.
Ooh, there's an idea.
Right?
Now here's the aforementioned Action Comics Futures End number 1. With the Man of Steel missing, ordinary people around the world start to mysteriously exhibit his strengths and abilities. Next we have Aquaman Futures End number 1. Mara has claimed the throne of Atlantis for herself, and she sentenced her unfaithful husband, Aquaman, to death. We've also got Detective Comics Futures End number 1. Batman takes his war on crime to the next level, but he needs the help of his greatest ally, the Riddler. Next we have Grayson Futures End number 1. Branded a traitor, Dick Grayson has become the most powerful hero in the newly resurgent and dominant Mother Russia, and now he must battle the beast from the east in one final struggle for supremacy. And we've got Green Arrow Futures End number 1. Green Arrow is dead, and his replacement finally stands revealed. And to see more of this week's lenticular covers, check out my DC Comics video for this week with all the books published by DC and Vertigo. From Marvel Comics, we've got Black Widow number 10, Because You Demanded He Shows Up in More Than Just 2 Panels, Black Widow vs. Hawkeye. Plus, How Could Their Fight Cost Isaiah His Life? Next, we have Death of Wolverine number 1 of 4. It's the beginning of the end. 3 months to die ends here. The beginning of the end is now here. The death of Wolverine. 3 months to die, the loss of Wolverine's healing factor all led to this, the single most important X-Men event of the decade. Logan has spent over a century being the best there is at what he does, but even the best fade away eventually. Over the years, Logan has been a warrior, a hero, a renegade, a samurai, a teacher, and so much more. But now the greatest X-Men hero will play a role he's never played before in this special weekly event brought to you by industry superstars Charles Soule and Steve McNiven. We've also got Miracleman number 10. Mike and Liz Moran are now parents to a talking newborn miracle baby. Their surprises have just begun. 2 strange alien figures are tracking the subjects of Project Zarathustra. Who are they and how are they connected to Miracleman's origin? Johnny Bates fights back against Kid Miracleman, making a decision that will have epic repercussions, including material originally presented in Miracleman number 10 plus bonus content. Parental advisory, this issue will be polybagged. Next, we have Rocket Raccoon number 3. Everyone's favorite pistol-packing Procyon finally finds himself face-to-face with the intergalactic imposter. It's macho ado about everything as Macho Gomez guest stars, and the ex-Terminators are hot on Rocket's tail. Procyon is the scientific term for raccoon, obviously. And we've got She-Hulk number 8. Charles Soule and Javier Pulido's acclaimed run continues. She-Hulk takes on a new client, Captain America. Meanwhile, Patsy does a little digging on the Blue File. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Terminator, Enemy of My Enemy number 5 of 6, deliberately walking into a trap to save the life of scientist Elise Fong. Ex-CIA operative Farrell Green finds herself surrounded by metal monstrosities as she contends with not only the T-800, but a host of other robotic enemies reverse-engineered by mercenaries. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Turok, Dinosaur Hunter number 7. Turok, the mighty dinosaur hunter, finally discovers the great mound city of his cursed parents, where he's welcomed with open arms and offered protection from the savage lizards hiding in the forests. But when the flying Mongols of Genghis Khan come to offer a partnership, which side will Turok choose? Don't miss this amazing chapter by superstar Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa. And we've got Twilight Zone number 8. Diana Westby has tried to avoid doing what she knows is necessary to stop a terrorist attack because she knows that in so doing, she would have to pay the ultimate price. Where do you turn when there's no one you can trust and no one who'll believe you and millions of lives are on the line, including yours? In the fiery 4th act conclusion of the 2nd Twilight Zone arc, Diana makes a decision that will change the future of the world forever. From Image Comics, we've got Sidekick number 8. After years of doubt and guilt, Barry Chase finally has a mission to kill the Red Cal in retribution for the betrayal of a lifetime. But first he has to find the Cal, and that won't be easy. So when he turns to Melody, the Cal's assistant, who he suspects may have been in on the whole thing, how far will he go to force her to tell what she knows, and what price is she prepared to pay to withhold that information? From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Death-Defying Dr. Mirage number 1 of 5. Death was just the beginning. Dr. Mirage talks to the dead, but the only spirit Shen Fong can't find is that of her late husband, Huen. Instead, America's favorite semi-retired paranormal investigator is haunted and raw, using her gift to solve homicides and bring peace to the recently bereaved. But when a big-time occultist with a classified military past hires her for a special job, Sean uncovers a lead that might close the greatest mystery she's ever tackled: how to get Huen back. Now Dr. Mirage must enter the undiscovered country and cross all the realms of the underworld if she has any hope of rescuing the man she loves, or be forever lost beyond the earthly plane. Out in trades this week, we've got Forever Evil hardcover. The Justice League is dead, and the villains shall inherit the earth. In this new hardcover collecting the 7-issue miniseries, the crime syndicate takes over the DC universe, and no one can stand in the way of them in complete domination. No one except for Lex Luthor. And we've got The Walking Dead Volume 10 hardcover. Rick's treaty with Negan and the Saviors is pushed to the limit as both sides march toward all-out war. Collects The Walking Dead number 109 to 120. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.